What is up, everybody? I'm NoLucksGiven here with your afternoon snap, and I think I just figured out what I'm going to do with today's video. Hulkbuster just got nerfed. Or maybe it just got buffed? I'm not sure. The fact that you can now curve out Deadpool into Hulkbuster might be a buff to the card. So in this video, we're going to find that out. But first, just to kind of set the scene, I'm going to start up an infinite conquest with the old Hulkbuster. I'm playing this before the OTA went live with the old Hulkbuster here as a 3/5. So we'll see how this goes for me. I've got a few infinite tickets left, and then after the OTA drops, I'll throw in another infinite ticket here. I do really like this deck, and this was the main Deadpool list that I've been playing with. Shuri's Lab seems like a fantastic start to me as well. So we're going to kick this video off with a snap. And I think we can probably just play Forge into Shuri's Lab. There is some incentive to not play the Forge into the Shuri's Lab. So that way, if we draw the Hulkbuster, then we can develop that as well. Opponent on the Galactus avatar. Ooh, and that's going to mean that it's really good to play into Shuri's Lab early. This is a fantastic curve, and this is something that you couldn't do, or I'll say that you can't do, with the new Hulkbuster. I mean, you kind of could. You kind of can. Sorry, the timeline here, everything's getting a little bit timey-wimey with the fact that I know I'm going to release this in the future after Hulkbuster is changed, but of course, it's not changed while I'm filming this video here yet. 22 power Deadpool, that's a pretty way to start a conversation, I'll say that. So that is quite strong. Venom's going to be insane. Okay, this is a ridiculous high roll. If we can steal Limbo with Nico, draw Nico to change Limbo, that's going to be fantastic. We get a free Deadpool kill in Vormir if we decide to go for that, but we could also just go for Venom plus Deadpool in Shuri's Lab next turn for an absolutely massive Venom. Well, I feel like if this is the draw, we should just do this. Next turn, play Venom, Deadpool into Shuri's Lab. I mean, it seems like I kind of have an idea of what my opponent could be playing. They could be playing, like, the Destroyer list that I probably showcased yesterday. Again, I have not showcased this list as I'm recording this right now, so the timeline's a little funky here. But I'm imagining this is a Nimrod into Shuri's Lab this turn for my opponent, or a Shuri. Sure. Alright, if we can find the Nico, we will blow my opponent out here, but no. We've got our hands on a Knull, though. That should be pretty dang good as well. Next turn, I get to play Deadpool plus Knull. And I'm not really sure what this loses to. But let's start with this. So what could this be into Shuri this turn? I'm not sure. What an incredible high roll to kick this video off with. Okay, this is the Nimrod here, just supported by Shuri, and then Yondu. So we could either see like a... oh, I can't play into Vormir. That's really funny. Oh, could I lose to Galactus here? Yeah, I mean, might as well not lose to Galactus, huh? So in order to not lose to Galactus, I could just do this. Yeah, I don't really see how I lose this game in any capacity. This has to be a Galactus play into Vormir. Knull. So I beat Knull, and I beat the death, and I take my first opponent here for 4 cubes. Okay, nice start regardless. Could still be a Galactus deck. probably looking like, I mean, if I had to guess in the dark, I'm guessing, well, actually the list I showcased yesterday did not play Yondu. Do have to slightly worry about Shang-Chi coming from my opponent as well, and this game we don't really have to worry about anything because it's a District X game. Not totally afraid of snapping here, but I don't have either of the payoff cards, and my opponent's deck is like all payoff cards. Okay, 1-drops plus Hit Monkey on the final turn of the game could be a really satisfying way to grab myself 2 cubes. I think we're probably going to play this one for 2 cubes, though, unless we get some nice info from the Bugle. And we do find a payoff card. But it's not a payoff card that either of us are going to play heavily into, I don't believe. I guess I could have played the Deadpool last turn, huh? Yeah, there was no reason not to. So I could play it next turn. Deadpool plus Killmonger next turn, and just set up Deathlok right here. Yeah, I guess there was no reason to just not... Okay, and a retreat from my opponent for 1 cube. Is this an actual retreat? No, can't imagine it is. Not an infinite conquest. You work this hard to grab yourself an infinite ticket, you're going to stick it out. Vibranium Mines, and here is the Nico, but it's a little bit too soon for Nico to be on the change page mode. Forge is fine to develop if we draw exactly Wolverine. I think that's fine. But it's bad if Nico gives me card draw next turn. I'll skip. We did learn about Death last game. Ooh, additional card is really good in combination with everything else here. So this is another great example where Hulkbuster is much, much better as a 3/5. So I think the game plan from here would be something like this. And this gives me another... It gives me a Nico that is a 0/7? No, a 0/9. It's probably worth grabbing. Yeah, I'll go for it. So now we're hoping to grab a Nico that has the double ability. There is the Limbo. So if this second Nico turns into a doubler, that'll get up pretty high. I'd still probably prefer card draw, but I'll take what I can get. Yeah, Killmonger pumps up my opponent's Knull as well, so it's not super impressive just yet by any means. We could use K'un-Lun plus Nico, though obviously not super excited by that either. The fact that we have Knull is like a start, but my opponent could also easily find themselves in possession of a Knull. Yeah, again, nothing super impressive there. Sure, this is very silly. But I'll go for it. I mean, I'm not playing the Killmonger just yet. But this allows me to move over the Deadpool, give it the K'un-Lun bonus, and then eat it with Carnage. And at least get the Deadpool a roll in. My opponent with 4 energy this turn. Alright, they're just shurrying up a Carnage. That doesn't seem super impressive just yet. And then Nova is also in their list. Okay. We can give ourselves a huge Knull, but also give our opponents a huge Knull. That's gonna be an issue this entire game. I like the Deadpool, though. Yeah, I think that's actually a better option, is just retreat to my opponent's snap here. I could have fast retreated because my opponent snapping means that they're not going to be able to retreat, but I just wasn't having anything really impressive happening more or less that entire time. Probably should have just held on to Nico. Tried some interesting things, but ultimately I think got a little bit cute. Alright, Death's Domain is good. My opponent's snapping off the rip. I mean, we've got Death and we've got Knull, so I don't think I ever retreat to this here, though my opponent's deck does go over the top of me. So I do have to respect that a decent amount. Lemuria is going to delay. Lemuria is actually quite awkward here because now we don't know where this Wolverine is landing, so we don't have a great place to put our, or like a guaranteed place to put our Carnage or our Venom on turn 2. So kind of awkward Lemuria for us. Okay, and then seems like we'll just put it there, and that's pretty fantastic. So I think I could snap back to the card draw here. Thing is, I already do have the key cards, but destroying 2 cards from my opponent's deck and then drawing 2 cards from my own deck, I'm basically going to draw my whole deck this game, because my opponent will destroy one of my cards with either Yondu or Hotel Inferno, and then I'll draw 2, and I'll draw the other 9. Alright, they've got Yondu and they've got Hotel Inferno, so we are... Never mind. Limbo still more or less does it, though, I think. Hopefully Wolverine flips over into Limbo. That would be a nice reward. Not going to be so lucky. Alright, so we will just have to win one location with Knull, and then the other location with a whole bunch of other stuff. I think I'll just start with this for now. Seems good. Carnage, still no Nimrod for my opponent, but they could be saving it here. No Shuri for them yet either. And then we still haven't seen 1/3 of their deck, which is kind of crazy. Alright, I now have points in Death's Domain, which I actually do kind of like, though I could still mess it up here with Killmonger, should I choose to do so. Yeah, because I want to blow up this Wolverine once or twice. So let's start with this. There's the Nimrod. This is where things are going to get a little bit dicey. We do put some pressure on my opponent here by playing for more or less all of the remaining cubes this game. But I do think my opponent is in a pretty advantageous position from here. Alright, we just do this. Next turn we don't draw a card, but we get to play Death here and Knull into Limbo, which will definitely win in Limbo. Barring some other shenanigans, I suppose. We could put Hulkbuster onto the X-23, but I think I need power in Lemuria. I think I always lose Death's Domain. Yeah, to just like any number of destroy cards. There's going to be a whole destroy smorgasbord this turn. I'm assuming destroy, or yeah, Deathlok and then Venom are going to be the cards for my opponent here. So they definitely have me Nimrodded out. This has to be Carnage. Oh, okay, so we win in this location. But it's going to come down to if my opponent has the Knull. If my opponent has the Knull, then they take Lemuria. Wolverine landing there is really, really good for me. I think I just have to dodge the Knull. I don't think there's any way around it, and I do think it's worth 1 cube to see if they have it. Actually, it's pretty likely that they have it, right? This last card's Arnim Zola, and then one other card. It's very likely that they have it. They've drawn 10 of the 12 cards in their deck. But I don't think it's worth retreating and saving myself 1 cube when the chance to win is just so close. So I think they probably do have it, but it's worth the risk. Let's see what they got. That is going to be it. So we'll lose one extra cube on that. Maybe, I mean, this is a rough matchup, to be sure. I think one really clutch way will be probably like I showcased in yesterday's video, again, that I have not yet recorded, is trying to change Limbo out from under my opponent, or making a huge Deadpool. I think that's quite good. Don't have to play Deadpool here. I can wait, see if I draw Forge, though. The order would still work fine regardless. There's like a chance I could have played Deadpool center. Done something interesting with that. All right, definitely not drawing Forge. But what is location number 2? That's going to be nowhere. So glad that I did not go center. Let's go center now. My opponent could play Limbo into Elysium this turn. Elysium's a great location for them, so I don't think they're super inclined to do that. But I don't think that I risk anything by playing X23 here either, so let's go for that. All right, that is going to be a Limbo into the third unrevealed location, which makes sense. And now I just have to draw some of my own Destroy cards. I really want to draw Nico and get that ball rolling as well. Death is fine, though I don't think it ultimately serves me super well. It is something. I'm just going to hang on to Wolverine. There's no reason to play it without Venom, Deathlok, or Carnage, because maybe I draw Nico and get to blow up the Wolverine. Though I could use it to blow up Deadpool as well, so not a huge deal there. Carnage on nothing kind of makes me feel like my opponent's got a big old nothing over there. But we're already playing for max cubes, so not much more that I can do. But I will continue to press my Deadpool advantage. We're drawing the cards in a good order. If I can draw Venom soon, that would be great. And use Venom on the Deadpool. It's a great start. My opponent has used basically all of their cards. Oh yeah, Arnim Zola and then Destroyer would be the other big thing. Looks like they're setting up to Arnim Zola this Venom. That feels very, very beatable. Deathlok will beat my opponent's Venom. But if we can draw our own Venom, that will be great. No, we're going to draw Nico and draw 2 cards here. This is turn 5, somehow, against all odds. So this is a pretty great Deadpool, but you know what? So this location has more power. They're about equal. So the question is, which location do we want to play Venom in next turn, and then we don't play the Nico to that location, so that way we can play Venom or Deadpool Venom to that location next turn. But because my opponent is going to try to swing the Venom over here, I'm kind of inclined to leave this space open. I can't play Nico center. I think I will just do this, though. Scar! Okay, so no Destroyer, but probably still Arnim Zola, I would have to imagine. Now, a Knull for me is quite fantastic, and a Venom to join the party seems pretty gravy, baby. I can't come up with a reason not to do this. I've already drawn my entire deck. But yeah, just can't come up with a reason not to do it. So let's do it. Nimrod. I do think this is still an Arnim Zola on that Venom. It could be a Knull. but I feel like we're beating Knull every time here since we've got our own bigger Knull. Like, if I'm my opponent, they're just playing Knull right here. I mean, I don't see how I ever lose with this play. We can think about it. We can think about it for a second. Oh, this play could lose. This play could definitely lose to a Knull center. So it's probably just safer to play for all 3 locations, even if ultimately I don't care about this location. If I play here, then Knull here wins it, but like they still won't be able to win the other 2 locations with Death. Well, they already played Death. They literally just have Knull, Shuri, and then 1 card that we have not seen. But they only have 1 card in hand. Alright. It's whatever. We won this one. Okay, Killmonger. Pretty spicy one. Not gonna do it, but good effort. Good effort from my opponent there, for sure. Definitely something to keep in mind. Wasn't thinking that they would have Killmonger because it does not blow up Nimrod, but it's a great anti-Deadpool card, and that is going to be all she wrote from my opponent. Let me give them back the fist bump there as a fellow Destroyer enjoyer, and we will move on to round 2 there. That was a great way to kick off this video. It's probably going to be a pretty long video, and I don't think I'm going to edit it down too much. I was just kind of like going into this being like, okay, if I lose, I lose. It's a quick video, and if I win, then it's a fun infinite run in the infinite conquest here. So either way, win-win or lose-win, however you want to view it. Carnage, Death, Killmonger, not an insane start, and Quantum Tunnel, not something I'm super happy to play with, though, yeah, the fact that I already have Knull in my hand as well means that is kind of an awkward location. I believe that Quantum Tunnel doesn't work with Nico. Like, if Nico comes out of Quantum Tunnel, it won't have any text on it. This is looking like a retreat if my opponent decides to snap at any point here. What, they got Iron Lad fetching Jane, and does Jane draw them? The Wasp? It does. Okay. No, it doesn't. It doesn't. Mindscape. Well, Mindscape is really interesting. The fact that my opponent is a Thor deck and a Beta Ray Bill deck means that Quantum Tunnel is pretty good. Quantum Tunnel is actually the featured location as I am recording this. I think I am just going to retreat. I'm retreating not because of Mindscape, but because of like bad hand and opponent snap pressure. And maybe because of Quantum Tunnel. But I don't think Mindscape really hurt me, considering I hadn't done anything yet. Like, there's a chance that Mindscape just gives me like Hitmonkey and a pair of weapons, and I can actually do something with that. Though they would just play the weapons into Quantum Tunnel, right? Okay, this start is looking a lot better with Forge plus Deadpool. I think I'm gonna snap. My opponent has no clue what I'm playing, so if they want to find out, it's gonna cost them a cube. And I think I'm willing to play Forge here post-snap. They do have Iceman. Iceman on Deadpool would be kind of gnarly, and it's almost a reason to keep Forge in my hand, so that way it can eat up an Iceman trigger. It's probably a little wacky, though. Alright, might have been smart, as Deadpool eats at least one Iceman trigger. Yeah, that is a little bit unfortunate. That's a little bit unfortunate. That's going to delay my turn 2 play, even. And it's going to mean that Deadpool is ultimately not that great of a card for me. So I could just move into X23, make that a 1/6 to eat up with Venom and friends a few times. I'm going to hold off, though. Grandmaster could get a little nasty, but ultimately the reason that I decided to delay my Deadpool is because the curve works out nicely that on turn 4, I get to play X23 plus was thinking Venom, but will now be Deathlok instead. At this point, my opponent definitely knows what I'm playing with a nice little 5-power Deadpool. Let's see if X-Mansion rewards me or punishes me. Wong for my opponent is actually huge, and that feels like a punish. Alrighty. Play our most expensive card here. Yeah, that's going to be a snap from my opponent. That makes sense, but I like my positioning still. Next turn, I get to play Carnage plus Venom to try to kill X23 multiple times. Might even be able to kill it multiple times this turn, which could be cool. I will need to kill it multiple times in order to make use of this really expensive Deadpool. Ooh, and my opponent fills up Carnage with Jubilee. So this is a pretty... Wow. Wow. Alright. Maybe could have retreated. If they draw that hammer, they can still add a bunch of power to Carnage still. Like a bunch of power. The conventional wisdom would be doing this. Doesn't seem that great for me. They can't play to X-Mansion this turn or it locks them out of the game, so they'll probably just wait, hope to draw hammer, and play into Morag next turn. But I do think we've won in X-Mansion already, so that part's nice, which means we kind of just have to grab a win in Morag, which I think we actually get here with this. So now do I instead decide to play around... This is tough. This is a bit of a mind game. It makes a lot of sense for them to go weapon and then something big in Morag. If they had something like Black Panther, but these decks aren't really playing Black Panther. I think it's weapon into X-Mansion and then something medium-sized in Morag. And I think we beat that. So I think I'm in for a penny, in for a pound. Let's do it up for 8 cubes. That is Shang-Chi on the Venom. That is, unfortunately, going to kill me dead. I could have played the Death plus Carnage into Morag to win that location and then Deadpool over in X-Mansion. Instead, I am down 8 cubes. Shang-Chi, a pretty big play there from my opponent. Could have also won in Carnage. So unfortunate with any play. Didn't think about Shang-Chi. I haven't seen... I mean, I didn't know exactly what my opponent was playing. Looks like they've got Zabu in the deck as well. But typically not used to seeing this deck play Shang-Chi. But you know what? Win-win. Like I said, lose-win. If this video winds up being pretty quick, I think I've still made the point of whether or not this is a good or bad change for Hulkbuster, because Hulkbuster's been fantastic for me as a 3/5, more or less every time I've drawn it. So there we go. All right, I'm snapping on this one clearly. Oh, I've only got 1 cube. I can't even snap. Oh, I've got to win the next 3 games, and then I've got to win the next 4. Alrighty then. Hulkbuster's pretty great here still. But my plan is probably to just play Killmonger into cloning Vats a whole bunch of times. And I do think I've won this game. But it's possible that we haven't. Sanctum Sanctorum and Starlight Citadel is a really interesting combination. the sooner we can get Death to be free, the sooner we can take advantage of it in cloning vats, which is also great. I don't want to draw more Deadpools. I do want to draw more Killmongers. I can actually do this too. I do like Carnage into cloning vats. That might be something worth considering. No, I think I like this more. This lets me play a free Death next turn, which will give me 2 more copies of Death. So I think that's the ideal strategy here. And then we're hoping, well, one of these 2 side locations will become Sanctum Sanctorum. And I guess we're hoping it's not the Thor one, though if my opponent has Beta Ray here, that could also be awkward. No, we're definitely hoping that becomes Sanctorum, where they just wonged. Never lucky. Could use Nico to take away the cloning vats at the very end of the turn. So that looks something like this. I think this is fine. I'm just going to squeeze in a Deathlok here as well. And that blows up the Nico, so it still gives me room in cloning vats. Though I guess an X-23 could flop into cloning vats. Yeah, always a possibility. We're going to see Jane come down. Oh, nice. Nico gets destroyed 3rd, so there actually isn't a chance for Nico to flop into vats. And we find another Elysium Iron Lad into double Jubilee. We'll grab Jubilee and then 1 more card, and that's going to be Odin, but the location is full. We get to win that with Death, and we've got 28 power in Elysium, which is 16 power after Shang-Chi. Yeah, sure. I'll just play around Shang-Chi. They might not have seen Knull. They probably know it's here, but I'll just play this. No reason for them to concede, and yeah, this is why... okay. It's actually Doctor Doom plus Mjolnir for Sanctorum. Forgot about Doctor Doom. What are the last cards in my opponent's deck? Iceman kind of hints at Lockjaw. And then Jane. Because I don't think they showed Wasp in game 1. I think we looked at their hand and it said 3 cards, which implied no Wasp. I'm gonna battle it out here. I'm gonna scrap it out and we'll see if we can get by. But of course, without being able to snap, this is a little bit rough. Only reason to play Forge is if we draw the X-23, but I think I'd like to have a little bit more flexibility in seeing the locations here. I don't think there's a huge reason to hang on to Forge. Main reason is really just to give myself a clear location to Deadpool plus Hulkbuster and not accidentally play Forge into something bad. But of course, hanging on to Forge, we did make that mistake in the previous game, hanging on to Forge so that way we can't, there's the Hulkbuster, we prevent the Deadpool from getting Iceman. I think probably could have been a nice little heads up play in game 2. So rectifying that mistake a little bit by having Wolverine eat some ice. And we're set up with an 8-powered Deadpool. I mean, I'd definitely snap here given the opportunity to. We'll just be dodging Machine World for a little bit. Nor Dimension, kind of an exciting one. I could play Wolverine here to grab myself a Jin. But I think if I draw a Destroy card next turn, I'm going to want to throw that into the tower immediately. Just in case I draw a Destroy card from every turn from here until the rest of the game, I want to keep blowing up my Deadpool. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is the play. I do want to play a Jin, though, on turn 5. You know what? Yeah, I'm actually going to deviate from the script here. I'd really like to play a Jin on turn 5. It means that I can play Knull plus Deadpool without needing X23. So let's run this. Okay, get a Wong, which is actually kind of cool. I don't think I can use it super effectively, but it could have been cool at least. Well, hold on now. Nah. Just thinking like Wong plus Jin. Is that anything? Don't think so. Can't come up with a huge reason not to play Nico, so we'll just eat a Jin here. All that power goes into Knull. Not going to be able to play Death either. Just going to play Deadpool plus Knull on the final turn. And that honestly might not even be enough. Shang-Chi out of the... no longer need to fear the Shang-Chi. And if we can turn this location into something sweet for myself, then we might be able to spike a cool victory here too. Like a location that doubles the cubes. We're just going to grab some Vibranium. I mean, a piece of Vibranium would be playable here. So, it's appreciated. So if Thor gets plus 12 from this... from a Mjolnir, it'd be Mjolnir plus Odin. I'm like never beating that. I guess I just do this, this, this. Yeah, I'm sure this wins. I don't think that the Knull wins the Nor Dimension, though. They could have just not drawn Mjolnir. That's definitely possible. I could see like Dr. Doom into Wong this turn. My opponent has priority. I beat Goliath. Okay, it is Mjolnir plus Odin plus just a Jin over in Nor Dimension. Oh, Magneto. Neato. Well, luckily, Vibranium beats my opponent in the Vibranium Mines, because we are going to be losing the Nor Dimension, and Venom getting pulled out of there was a little bit spooky. But we will take them for a cube. I need to win one more game. No. We're in high stakes mode now. So now I just need to win 4 games in a row. It's been done. It's been done. We just won 2 in a row. So we just need to do that and then do that again. We got this. And then I'll try out the 2-cost Hulkbuster. Then I'll try out Hulkbuster as a 2/3. Not gonna give up my hard-earned infinite tickets for free, though. That's for sure. Alright, Magneto is in my opponent's deck, and then Jane is the only card that is not currently showing. Could go Nico into Carnage, into Venom. That's a pretty bad curve and a pretty bad use of Nico, I think, for just 2 power on Carnage. play Deathlok into Asgard next turn, and then maybe turn 4 go Deadpool Venom into Asgard. Unless we draw a Hulkbuster here. Ooh, okay, that's pretty great as well. I'd be snapping here if I were allowed. I suppose we could Carnage. I think all of our cards are going to be cheap enough with Elysium in the game that I'll go for more points here to try to battle for Asgard. So we're hoping this X-23 lands back over into Asgard to continue to pump up the Carnage, but if not, I think this ordering was still appropriate because I do want the Carnage there to at least try to battle for Asgard. But now I get to go Forge, Deadpool, I suppose Venom at that point, but it seems like kind of a bummer. I might just choose not to draw cards considering I'm drawing enough cards here elsewhere, and I might just choose to lose in Asgard this turn. Actually get to do this. I think I'm gonna hang on to the Venom, and I think it might actually be worth it to make Death slightly cheaper here, so that way I can also eat Death next turn into Venom. Does set me up for a Shang-Chi, but I should be able to win the other 2 locations. And they do not battle for Asgard. Wow, that's huge. At least I don't think they're battling for Asgard here. It's probably Beta Ray, and they don't want to stack up their Thors in one location. Makes sense. Oh, and Beta Ray's good in the Stark Tower as well, so heads up play from my opponent there. We are not going to have too much extra energy here to go crazy, because what I'd like to do is definitely this as a starter. And then from here, I've got the option to either play Death or Venom. I'm sorry, I can either play Death or Wolverine before playing Venom, and I think I'm fine with Wolverine. This does give me priority, which means my opponent will be able to Shang-Chi me, but I think I should be able to go over the top of Beta Ray Bill to the point that it doesn't matter. One final data point, Hulkbuster definitely better as a 3-4. No, my opponent's going to steal priority. That's great for me. They do get an additional free Stormbreaker. That's kind of crazy. So Beta Ray Bill is going to 24 next turn. The Deadpool is bigger.
Enough said, bub. All systems go.
We actually beat Shang-Chi in Elysium as well, which is kind of crazy. I think I'd do this, so that way when they Shang-Chi me, my Knull is even huger. We beat a plus 14. It certainly seems like this is the play. My opponent can go Shang-Chi plus Jubilee Center plus Stormbreaker, of course. They probably go Shang-Chi plus Jubilee into Elysium, Stormbreaker into Stark Tower. The other thing that they were obviously eyeing up here was Odin. But just Odin and then Stormbreaker, no other plays, means that I win in Asgard and Elysium. So I'm not afraid of Odin. I think we've got him covered from all bases here. Yeah, it's going to be Shang-Chi plus Jubilee plus an additional Stormbreaker over in Asgard. Jubilee could get Dr. Doom. Just grabs them a Wong. Not going to be good enough, though. We'll beat the Stormbreaker, and we will beat the Beta Ray Bill. And just got to do that a few more times. What a video. What a video. I think this is a fun one. Regardless, not expecting my opponent to concede. They do. Oh, no. I was going to say they've still got one hitting card in their deck, but that's Jane. It's Jane, let's remember. Okay. Don't love what's happened so far here, though neither does my opponent. Only reason to play Forge is X23, but Nico... Is that not super necessary? Actually, Nico is a reason to play Forge this turn, too. Okay, let's play it. In case we draw Nico and it's already on card draw mode, then I guess we would just go Nico into Forge, but then we wouldn't be playing Deadpool. Alright, no Lemuria. That does let me throw in a plain old Deadpool. I've got Killmonger. This is the start, and we dodge the... Oh, what's this on? Okay. We dodge the Iceman. Oh, that's a Koye. That's a Koye. Have to play Nico while it's on draw 2. No other option. Maybe we'll Sakar in a Killmonger, but Death and Knull would also be interesting here too. Koye, and then turn 3 Thor. No, Iceman off curve hitting Killmonger, of course. And then we develop our Knull, and my opponent loses their Shang-Chi. This is a win, baby. Oh, this is a win. That is a huge Nico blowing up the Hulkbuster. Really powerful play here, and will draw me the rest of my deck. Will mean that I win with Knull. Next turn I get to go Deadpool plus Killmonger or Deadpool plus Venom. Whichever suits your fancy. My opponent does have Dr. Doom at their disposal, but we know they don't have any way to answer this Knull, so it's just a one location. The X23 is good, and I think it's going to mean that I don't play Killmonger. Actually, Killmonger might be better. So basically, Killmonger Deadpool means that I blow up 4 things, which means death costs 3. Or I blow up 2 things, which means death costs 5, but it effectively costs 4 because I've got the bonus energy. So let's go for death costs 3. And we could play Carnage here. Could play Deathlok into nowhere next turn. Oh wait, I said I'm playing Killmonger. Apologies. Kind of forgot what I was doing there for a second. Distracted myself, but no matter. So what could they have here? Just Beta Ray. Not super impressive. Don't need to put more power into Knull. Don't need to worry about Killmonger. Just gonna be like this. All right. I'm almost positive this card is Jane, but the fact that it's not there is like making me a little bit nervous. Like, do I need to play around something? Oh, Odin to re-trigger. Okay, that almost could have gotten me. That would have been really embarrassing because I wasn't even paying attention to the game or caring at all. But Deadpool was big enough. Wow. Okay, good play by my opponent to Odin the Shang-Chi. Did not even consider that. Gotta win 2 more games. It's definitely possible here. Actually do kind of like Forge into Wolverine on this one. I'm gonna hang on to it though. Maybe it eats an Iceman. Not quite, not yet. Alright, Wakandan Embassy. A little bit awkward. Because I have not yet found any of my... I don't have any of my cards that I need to destroy or any of my payoffs. I just have all of the cards that destroy things. So it's a little bit awkward. Still some things I can do here, though. Like, I can put a big Deathlok into Monster Metropolis and then eat it with Venom. Or I can just start to eat X-23. It's something. It's not something that I'm super excited about, but it's something and could still make a Knull draw live. Oh, that's Thor plus Wakandan bonus. So they got me beat by a little bit there. I mean, I think it's just this. Not in love with it. But it looks like it's the play. So next turn, it's like possibly Venom plus Killmonger to set me up with a bunch of energy and a death. And that probably makes Knull big enough. I don't mind battling for Monster Metropolis as opposed to battling for... Yeah, so then next turn I'm just playing... How many cards have been destroyed? It's only telling me one. That's so annoying. How many cards have actually been destroyed? No, does not tell me. So it's Forge once, X-23 twice, Deadpool once. If I can blow up these two, and then X-23 one more time, then I could play everything next turn. Death will only cost one. I don't want priority. I think this will possibly not give me priority. No, I'm going to have priority here. There's Jane. Jane confirmed. So we're looking at Weapon Odin. And priority. But I do get to play to all three locations. Weapon Odin. This doubled twice is still beatable. Battling for all three locations, I think this is the play. Is it worth battling for all three locations? Should I instead play around Doom or Magneto? Magneto pulling out all three of my cards into Hala. I still beat that. $16. Yeah, Knull still beats that. Okay. I think I'm actually always losing Monster Metropolis here. Oh, Wong plus double weapon. I think I still beat this here, right? The math is really close. Yeah, very, very close. What is this gonna be? Just an Iceman? Yep. Cool. All right. Just gotta win one more game. Good luck. Good luck, Frankie. Cloning Bats is definitely a start. The reason not to play X-23 is what if I draw Forge? But I could still run this out with Forge next turn. Seems good. It's Cloning Vats, not Sinister London. Mini Lab. Okay. So the real issue here is going to be playing around Shang-Chi and getting points into Mini Lab. Venom should be pretty fantastic. If this lands on X-23, it is such an incredible high roll. I do want to start blowing stuff up so that we can get a free death as well, though. And Hulkbuster to return Venom to my hand. Next turn I'll have 5 energy. It's just enough to go Wolverine plus Venom again. I mean, I think these are the cards I'm rocking with for the rest of the game. So it's just which scales quicker. This is such a high roll if I hit the X-23. Okay, still fine. They only went for 1 Thor. Cloning Vats is really good if they're able to start using their stuff. Oh, that's a high roll too. So the fact that stuff can't flip into the mini lab is a little bit awkward. Because it means I only get to play 1 Carnage per turn. Carnage is going to pop up here as well and eat this Carnage, which is kind of interesting. So maybe I just do this, hope to not get both of my cards landing here, and if they don't, Carnage will pop up here and send the wolves back, giving me a free death. It's a really spooky game. Don't double flip into hand or into Valley. So now I'm bunked in Valley, which is a bummer. Just means that Shang-Chi could do me in. Can it, though? Shang-Chi plus a 12 power buff on Thor. I don't know. Is it Doctor Doom? It's Magneto. Magneto to pull me. I'm not sure. Let's run it. Clearly a Shang-Chi. No, it's Iron Lad, which is just going to hit Okoye again. And then Okoye. Oh, it's my opponent saying you won. Wow. Okay. We did it. I was not expecting that. This just became a video and a half. Join me next time for part 2. We're an hour into the video and I've only played 2 Conquest matches. This has been really fun though. You know what? This is going to be a Saturday video. It can get long. It can get a little bit spicy. we're gonna keep on going, and my goal was kind of to lose and move on. But this is really cool as well to actually capture a comeback from 1 cube. I think is fantastic. I lost the first 2 games to go down to 1 cube, and then I had to win 1, 2, 6 games in a row. Pretty fun. Pretty cool. Onslaught Citadel, a great location for Knull, and Forge is great with Deadpool. I do believe we are snapperoonin'. Reason to play Forge this turn is in case I draw X23. I think I probably do play Forge this turn into Deadpool. Time Stone should have checked that. Might not have snapped against this deck in particular. We do have Killmonger against them, which is cool. Vibranium Mine's a little bit awkward, and then we find the X23. So it's a pretty fantastic curve. I'm going to avoid the mines, obviously, and hope to draw any destruction card. Really any card. Nico's a fine draw too. I just don't want to draw Wolverine. I think Wolverine is, at points, one of the weaker cards in the deck. But then again, no. It's like an important card. It's just like a worse Deadpool or X23. Okay. I don't understand this curve out from my opponent here. And they're giving themselves a bunch of Vibranium. There's the Nico. Oh, and Nico's on draw cards? Well, hot diggity. Kind of like this to play around like Armor or Cosmo. Just battling for priority. 4 energy for my opponent, Mobius, and then Reality Stone. We do no longer have priority. And Superflow's a little bit annoying, but it means that if I draw Killmonger next turn, I'm in a pretty fantastic position. Power Stone and Mobius getting souped up. This feels like a really, really low roll for my opponent. But we should draw the Killmonger here and be in a pretty nice spot. Oh, only 1 and 3 to draw Killmonger now. And she's not there. So probably this. Seems pretty good still. Does put all of my power into the Citadel. This might battle for priority, which is awkward, but it might not. And the plan is to be able to drop Knull into Citadel and then a 12 power Deadpool in another location. We could see the Professor into the mines here. I have to imagine my opponent's sitting on at least 2 pieces of Vibranium, though, before the end of this game. Is that Professor? It's Vibranium. Interesting. Well, Deadpool definitely gets to swing the mines. It is a... Oh, and they have priority. Oh, so is this just a 50-50 versus Goliath? This might just be beating Goliath in a 50-50, which I'm totally fine with. So they probably played a Superflow. You know, if I'm playing around Goliath specifically, then I just play to both of these locations and I can never lose. Sure. We would have won regardless with this play, but that's fine. Taking him for 4 cubes. All we saw is Psylocke. We saw a lot more of their deck than that. We saw Lockjaw, Iron Lad, Vibranium, Vibranium, and Vibranium. Okay, so we saw Iron Lad and Lockjaw. I was almost calling it Iron Jaw and Lock Lad. Iron Lad and Lockjaw. Ooh, a Lamentus. That is great for me. That is a snapperoonie. 80 power Knull. That is ridiculous. All right, get out of here, opponent. Yeah. No reason to even hit the end turn button there. They have to retreat. Lamentus is such a bad location for a Thanos deck and such a great location for a Knull deck, so there you go. Only way they stay in it there is if they're playing Rogue, and even then, it seems like a long shot. I don't love Grand Central. I think I'll hang on to the X-23. I do see a curve out for it. Carnage, Killmonger. But I think I'd rather pump it up in some capacity if that's the game plan. Again, the early time stone, looking for Lockjaw, I suppose, is the game plan over there. Yeah, I'm much happier with this curve out here, getting to develop the Hulkbuster on X-23 while it is still a 3/5 Hulkbuster. If this goes the full distance, then one, it's probably just going to be its own video. I mean, at this point, I'm not sure, and I don't want to spoil it by saying what the content is or isn't, but it might just have to be its own video. No Kyera from them game one. Seems like it could be promising. It gives me a free death. If they battle for White Hot, that's a little bit annoying. But I only see them doing it if they have Jeff. Maybe they'd go for it here. Just lose White Hot Room and then I unlock it for them. Because they can't play into Hellfire Club with their stones anyways. They are going to get a free baddie in Grand Central. Alright, yeah, they go for it. That turns on Thanos. And then gives everybody another 10. Alright, this is going to turn active, I'm pretty sure. Because I get to play Death basically for free. The actual cost of playing Death and using the Killmonger here is that it will allow my opponent to play to Great Portal again, which I think is a really funny drawback here. But this has to be Killmonger this turn, that way I can play Death on turn 5 and Scar on turn 6. They are getting more energy. They do not have enough energy yet, incredibly. Waboom, free death. Free death and a decent amount of power into Knull as well. This is like something I'm considering. No, wait.
Opponent snapped.
Sure. I don't want priority, but I don't not want priority either. This is just in case Carnage lands here, I get a few more free power out of it. Seems good to me. Vision, Iron Lad. Mobius. So I'm not going to be able to use Scar now. Might as well try to get Scar in Grand Central instead. Not that I have any control over that. But we do get to blow up the Wolverine again. That's really nice. And now we're 50-50 to hit the Knull here. And if Wolv goes into Hellfire Club, that's also really good for me, because then I'm winning in that location. And now I just play Knull into Grand Central and battle for all 3 spots. My opponent does get to play multiple cards this turn. I mean, they only have 9 energy. So they can play like Mobius. They can move Vision. They can move Vision into Hellfire Club and then blob me in Great Portal. That's actually pretty good. Yeah, I think that's just if they got it, they got it. It'll be 25 in Hellfire Club. Blob. Lose to Blob. It can't beat that, unfortunately, because Scar is just bigger than Deathlok. If I had rolled my Scar here, it's a different story. Then it's a game of differential, and I think I actually win that one. I would just Knull into Great Portal. I could retreat. They can't beat me with Goliath. It has to be Blob. The fact that they haven't ended their turn means that I don't think they have it now. I could have pressed end turn and then retreated, but now I'm feeling more confident. I think they somehow just weren't expecting this. Oh. Or they just way overcommitted. Oh, okay, well, sure. We take them for 4 cubes. Yeah. So we both got Scar off Great Portal. Did not even notice that this wasn't their Scar, but there we go. They had Scar and Blob, but just did not put their cards in the right spot. Okay. Dark Dimension means nothing to me. No snap this game. My opponent has to win the next 10 games. I feel pretty confident from that position, despite what happened to us in the last round. I feel pretty confident in this spot. It's just so much fun. Okay, I don't want to let them have Castle Blackstone forever. Yeah, that'll do it. Next turn I can play Hulkbuster, Deathlok into Bar Sinister. I don't like not having my Killmonger anymore, but I think it's still fine. Don't all land back into Bar Sinister, please, somehow. Okay. Wacky. Magneto, sure. What do we got here? Oh, cool. I don't know. That does block me in Bar Sinister. I don't like how many of them landed here. It's a little bit awkward. Let's do like this or something, maybe. Sure. I just want to draw 2 cards. I think most of what's happening here isn't like super important. There we go. Finally got something good. Forge plus Venom into Bar Sinister will actually win that location. Clear out all these nasty little X-23s. And then I just need to find the Knull. Find Carnage. Yeah, I don't want to fill up both of these other two locations. I don't want to fill up either of them. So I think I'm just going to do this. Hope to draw Knull next turn, and then I also have Death. And I'll just play Wolverine into Bar Sinister or something. It's a little bit awkward if I don't draw Knull, but it's kind of what I've been playing for this whole game. So we get a 10 power Carnage, and then we get a 13. 13 times 4 is 52 power Venom. Let's see if my opponent goes over the top here. Could have also just like blown up some X-23 so that way I'll get to play Wolverine, but I don't really need the Wolverine. I either have it or I don't. Magneto. Okay, well, we win in Bar Sinister. We do lose... Well, we don't even lose to Shang-Chi, because we're beating Shang-Chi in Dark Dimension already. So it's just a matter of doing this. If my opponent has Blob, then we lose. So that's... actually, this beats Blob in a lot of scenarios. Loses to, like, Blob plus Power Stone. I don't know. 18 power could certainly beat Blob. It winds up being like 17 most of the time. Nothing to do but see, is it Blob plus Power Stone or Soul Stone? I forget which stones we've seen so far. But it could very well be Blob plus Soul Stone. No, Blue Marvel to try to take me in Bar Sinister, but the Deadpools clutch it out. Wow. Wow. That is really funny. They would have tied me in Bar Sinister. I win by 12, lose by 15. So if I had played Deadpool here, I would have lost. That's really, really funny. It's really funny. All right. On to round 4. Incredibly. I mean, I do think that this deck is incredible. It's getting nerfed for a reason. If we get the opportunity to play for an avatar, I will see if I have a Hulkbuster avatar. Don't believe that I do. I did get a Dan Hip Venom avatar this season, so maybe that's a good one. Kind of celebrates Destroy being my main deck all season long. But yeah, you know, I do tend to do pretty well in Conquest. I think that it rewards my playstyle, and I've just been like in the zone for Marvel Snap in general this season. So it's not like a total surprise, but it's cool to be doing live commentary and taking it at least this far. We'll see how far ultimately we are able to get. These queues are going to be a little bit longer here now. And also, I was talking in this video about the video, yesterday's video, or Thursday's video. Maybe yesterday's video at this point, because I have not recorded that video. My plan was to record this while I was less tired and had the energy to play, and then as I got more tired, record that video that you've maybe already seen, or maybe haven't. Hopefully it came out. I think I had some good plans for it. Now I might be getting a point where I'm too tired to record that video. I mean, I've only been recording for about an hour and a half here, but we're gonna add another half an hour on top of it in this one, so I'm gonna get a little bit bold. I'm gonna start snapping here before I start snapping here. And I might grab some water as well if this queue takes too much longer. At the very least, I'll grab some water between this one and the finals, if we're so lucky. Stop down for a sec. But I'm happy to the extent that I've been able to show off Hulkbuster. I didn't do anything with it that last game. I just played it on a Killmonger to draw 2 cards. I wasn't particularly worried. I was having fun when I get to see a Bar Sinister. But Hulkbuster can do some really insane stuff in Bar Sinister. I just didn't think it was like super worth it or super necessary considering my opponent's potential output in Bar Sinister. Didn't seem like it was going to be competitive with me, but it almost was. So let's not get too cocky here now. Asteroid M, Deadpool, X-23, and Carnage could run out the turn 1 Deadpool. Not going to, though. I think I'm just going to pass. I'm going to see what the locations are, see if we draw Forge. Okay, and we've got a mirror. So I could see snapping here now. Puts my opponent on their toes. They don't know why the snap is happening. But if I'm going to snap, I should snap before I reveal any information while I feel advantaged. Yeah, because this cloaks what I'm doing. My opponent could be afraid of armor. They could just be having a bad hand. And now I have information that they don't. And they might have stayed in it for a lesser snap, but I'm happy to just grab a free cube. That stuff adds up for sure. I think I pass here. Crimson Cosmos means my opponent has to play center and they've got Nova. So this could be a bigger version of the deck. Yet again, Howard the Duck, kind of spicy. Okay. This is going to sound weird. This is the only APM that exists in Marvel Snap. I'm going to play Nico into Howard, and I'm going to try to look at the top card of my deck before Nico blows up Howard. I've never even played Howard before, so I'm not sure how possible this is, but I know it's an APM issue. Oh, I clicked it too much. Okay. Didn't matter because it draws me the 2 cards anyways. I guess I didn't really consider that. But yeah, kind of an interesting interaction there. And I believe we're just going to do this. Next turn, play Deathlok. Oh, I got so distracted I did not snap. That was a mistake. Should have snapped to draw 2 cards from Nico, plus having Knull in my hand. Hopefully I don't get super punished from that. Looks like I won't. Opponent Deadpool into Carnage. Not a super impressive play from them. The Nova does pump the Deadpool, but I'm not super worried. I am a little far behind on my opponent, but that's fine because it just means I can save Killmonger. Though now I'm tempted to play Killmonger. Maybe I'll play Deadpool, Killmonger, X-23 next turn. Could play the X-23 here. Next turn I have 5 energy though. Seems like a perfect amount to just play Deadpool, Venom, X-23. Okay, my opponent goes Forge Deadpool, which was a great reason not to deploy my Killmonger this turn. My Deadpool is now bigger than my opponent's. Alright, Death is free, that's really good. And I just play this. Battle for center. Gives me options. I can go Deadpool, Knull, Death next turn. or I can do something funky with the Killmonger. It is going to be a Deathlok for my opponent, but they do have priority. That's the important thing here. Our Deadpools are also equal at 12 a pop. So I don't think I hate the position of just playing all three of my cards, because Killmonger denies me the ability to play Knull, which seems like a waste.
Opponent snapped.
Kind of want to play around Goliath, which would include doing this. We don't really know where they're going to play to. If I play the Knull in the same place that they play the Knull, unless it's here, then it's kind of a waste. I don't think they'd ever play their Knull here, though. Try this. Okay, but then, yeah, we get to beat their death with Knull, and that's enough to take them for 8 cubes. So there we go.
Victory.
They did actually play their Knull in the one place that they maybe shouldn't have played it, which... Yeah. Yeah, I don't think that that really does much for them, other than wins them that location, I suppose. Yeah, that is a big thing. Looks like they're not playing Hulkbuster. They're playing Nova. Maybe that's just why we won. Seems good. I guess I could hang on to Deadpool for one more turn. Doesn't hurt me. Could draw Forge, could find Wakandan Embassy. I'm slightly worried about the Starlight Citadel. Okay. We might be giving my opponent a cube here because of that, then. See what happens. This gives me like a little bit of points to play around with. But then they have an extra energy as well. So not looking great. Venom into Nor Dimension is probably still the play. These are actually all 5-point plays. I feel like I have to assume they're playing Venom here, and then I have to hope that it lands back here. And I've got to play 2 Jins to beat their 1 Jin. If they have got Nova Venom, I lose. But I think they'll just play Jin. What is this? Is this Nova? Oh, it's Carnage. If this lands here, I think we've got a game. Oh, but they have the Venom here, so we lose on differential. But if X23 lands back into Nor Dimension, I win. So 1 and 3 a win. Definitely possible. Nope. Oh, wait. No, I lose on differential. Yeah, okay. Bummer. Losing on differential with a 1 and 3 to win, though, is not too terrible. Kind of a wacky game. Didn't think about TVA, but not going to play around TVA and play my Deadpool turn 1. feel like for the most part that doesn't benefit me. Still missing one card from my opponent's deck list. I probably will run out the Forge this turn. Well, I will definitely run out the Forge this turn. And I will... There's actually some incentive to play at center. Yeah, I'll go for it center. Not snapping without Nico or Knull. That wasn't the advantage that I was thinking of by putting it center. No, actually it is. So, yeah, in a roundabout way it is. I was thinking that we never play Deadpool into an unknown location when we have a location where it works. So playing Forge Center allows me to hedge if I don't draw Hulkbuster, but do want to play Deadpool into a more favorable second location and blow up 2 cards with Carnage. Now, in this spot, I think I actually blow up both of these cards with Killmonger because Carnage is cheaper, and that might help me make some better plays later on. Fortunately, never really playing for White Hot Room. Alright, they just have Deathlok or something. If they have Carnage, then we kind of got him here with the Killmonger. But using my Killmonger is not great. Yeah, we kind of got him then.
Enough said.
Now, of course, we just do this. Next turn, we get to go Wolf Carnage into Hot Room, which does trigger White Hot Room if we can also draw either Nico or X-23. So there is some still cool high roll potential in that regard. And Death will be free. Death is a good card to have drawn. There's a few cards that I'm looking for. I want to draw Nico or X-23, and then I also want to draw Venom and Knull. So a little bit awkward. All Venoms go to the Asteroid. Hulkbuster does not go to the Asteroid, because it's a 1-cost card after it's finished getting played. Alright, and we find Nico, which is a move to the right. Well, I think it still makes sense to play, because if I draw Knull, then I can play Deadpool and Knull. Deadpool from my opponent. Looks like I am going to have priority. I guess it depends where our Wolverines go. Oh no, I think my opponent has priority here every time, which means I don't have to worry about Killmonger. So it actually is pretty nice. Luckily, Nico goes that way and not that way, or I'm mirrored in the... It goes that way and not that way. My camera's mirrored. Yeah, so they have priority, but this is not great for me. I mean, I lose to Knull. No, I can beat Knull here. Because I'm already winning in this location, so I just won't play for this location. And this wins here, this wins here. I think it does make sense to Deathlock the Wolverine. Yep, alright. In for a cube, what do they got? They got Nova, Killmonger, Deadpool, and Death Center. No, it's Deadpool Center. Oh, I'm also losing an Asteroid M. Alright, I'm losing everywhere. Wait, can Wolverine flip the White Hot Room or Asteroid M? It could have. Oh, Deathlok moves. Deathlok moved! Deathlok moved into Asteroid M. Oh, I was not considering that. That was actually really, really fantastic for me. All right, we'll take it, and we will take ourselves on to the finals. I'm going to grab a drink. You can probably tell my energy has gone down a little bit. It's a little bit because I'm tired, a little bit because it's late, a little bit because I need some water. But we will pick an avatar. We could pick Knull. So how do we do this? Oops. I do not want to switch decks. This is what you could have seen in yesterday's video that I have not yet filmed. Alright, so here is the hip Venom. I think that's a front runner. Oh, there's also Deadpool from, this is Jim Lee Deadpool. That could also be a front runner here. Here's Knull, Spotlight Cash Knull. I think there's an argument to be made for Spotlight Cash Knull, but I already have the Spotlight Cash border. Let me know in the comments down below. I've got Wolverine, what you would do. We could go for, this is actually kind of a cool one. I'm not, you know what? I'll do this with the Dracula deck though. I'll make Dracula earn his own border. Oh, I do have Hulkbuster. I feel like I have to. I think it's not as exciting as the other ones, but I feel like I have to try to earn Hulkbuster, the avatar, for the video. I think it only makes sense. It's only fair. So that's what we will be trying to do in just a moment. All right, let's hop into it. We are giving away a little bit of tactical advantage by equipping the Hulkbuster avatar, because now our opponents are going to potentially have a little bit better of an idea that we are on Destroy, but it's worth it to grab this Hulkbuster avatar, even if we're no longer playing with the basic Hulkbuster. I've got the Steampunk Hulkbuster that you can see right there on the untapped tracker. I keep this on my other monitor here, and it might take a little bit in this queue. So what else can I talk about? Well, so here's one thing. I'm not sure if there will be a part 2 to this video. There's a limited number of days left in the season, and I might want to experiment and play other decks. I don't really need to play any more Infinite Conquest. This is my first Infinite ticket that I've spent all season, but I've already got all of the rewards. I might as well just like play it for fun, but I might just play it like off camera, casually throughout the day and stuff. But I will say this, I've always been a believer in Hulkbuster. I'm not sure what I am allowed to say. I've asked Glenn Jones said something to me in the private Marvel Snap content creator chat, and I wanted to get a verification from him that I'm allowed to repost that. It's not a big thing. It's just about like their data as far as why they made this choice. But I'll just say this. I've been a Hulkbuster believer. I'll throw this list on the screen here while I talk about it. But most people take this list. I don't know why I can't grab it and drag it. Here we go. Most people take this list and they remove Hulkbuster from it. And I looked at this list and I said, you know what? I'm going to play it, and I'm going to play Hulkbuster in it. And I'm not cutting the card. And it's been pretty fantastic for me, as you've been able to see across these games throughout this Infinite Conquest. It allows you to, I think it allows you to high roll, but I think that it's really, really good on X-23 and reasonable on Wolverine with the combination of Venom and Knull. But it's always just been really, really good on X-23 as a 3/5. And I think we've been able to show that in at least one game. I can remember at least one 7-power X-23 throughout this video. But it's been a long, long video, and now we are up against Dying Eagle, and we'll see if we can take it home. They are playing with Thor, with their Thor avatar, I should say. Could go for the turn 1 Deadpool. I'm thinking about snapping, because Nova Roma's good. Turn 1 Nico means that we are really likely to find cards with Nico. I think I'm going to snap. I think I'm going to put the pressure on. No information revealed on turn 2 here just yet. but I think Novaroma's good for me. It is also good for a Thor deck, so I don't want to undercut that. Well, I'm going to draw another card here. +2. Nope, it's going to be the plus cards. We're gonna get a little wild here with this one. My opponent's also going to be able to draw a card from the Abbey, but we are going to be able to draw our entire deck here. I gave my opponent the opportunity to get in here, which is a little bit awkward, and Lemuria also winds up being a little bit awkward for me. Because now they're also going to draw a card from the Abbey. Not really anything I can do about that at this point. I can hope to draw X-23 and Wolverine naturally to set up for a big play here. Yeah, that's not great. So now I'm really wasting a lot of energy. I think I do just play this here because I think I'd... So next turn, Deadpool costs 1, X-23 or Wolverine costs 1 or 2, and then Venom or Carnage costs the remaining. Means there's no reason to hang on to this at this point. So I'll probably just blow this up and play Forge here. The idea being that Carnage goes here if I draw Wolverine. I'm going to draw my whole deck this turn, actually. Yeah. Oh, I don't draw the Killmonger just yet, but that's fine. There's Beta Ray, but the fact that Beta Ray came in so late means that they're not really going to have a huge opportunity to draw their Storm Guard. And now I probably have to play Deadpool here, which is actually what I wanted to do because I wanted to play Venom. And then next turn I will get to play Deadpool and Knull in these locations. So this is fantastic. They can Shang-Chi me in one location, but they can't Shang-Chi me everywhere, which means this should be a pretty good victory with my opponent having priority. They also cannot Grandmaster me, so I think we're covered from all fronts. Yeah, it beats Eliath. Does it beat... Yeah, this beats everything. Alright, great. There's definitely something that almost got me one of these games. What was that? Magneto plus... Magneto to move my Venom out of Nova Roma and then drop Stormbringer there is pretty clutch. But they won't win the lane that they Magneto me. And this also looks to be a Darkhawk build with the Rock Slide. Yeah, I have 2 cards in deck now. Shang-Chi. So they're feeling confident. Miss Marvel. Not quite gonna do it. Good effort, though. Gave me the Miss Marvel thumbs up there.
Victory.
I mean, I drew my entire deck. There was not much of an angle that they had other than hoping that Knull was the last card in my deck and that I draw Rock on the final turn. Okay. I don't really love using Nico for card copy, but I don't hate playing into Hotel Inferno. I do like my opponent's deck, Miss Marvel. I heard some people talking about this today. Miss Marvel getting activated by the weapons is pretty cool. Just don't think I love this Nico play here. But It's fine. We could play double Wolverines into Venom. Alright, I'll do it. And I'll snap. Snap might have been a little bit bold, but Hotel Inferno is a favorable location. Take out Thor. Great Portal. Basically just looking for Death and Knull, but actually Scar is a good one as well. And Deadpool doesn't really help me. Actually, it kind of is interesting, though. Means that next turn I could play Wolverine, Deadpool into Great Portal. And just ignore this Nico for now. Yeah, because I want to get this Death cheaper. Rock Slide is fine. So there's actually kind of a reason to play the Rock here, but it's a little too risky. I don't want both Wolverines to flip there. And actually, even if just one flips there, then I wouldn't be able to play Deadpool. So I'm just going to hang on to the Rock. Let it be a mystery. If I play it in Dark Dimension, then my opponent knows it's a Rock, so loses some power. I actually have two options for where to not play this Venom. Hulkbuster onto Deathlok. It's an interesting 50-50 that probably doesn't pay off, but would allow me to play a cheaper Scar. I think it is worth it. I think a cheaper Scar is pretty good. Definitely worried about the fact that this means I definitely have priority. I'm not sure there's anything I can do about that. And I think it just has to be Deadpool here, and then I'm looking for like Carnage into Great Portal or something, which doesn't seem fantastic here either. The fact that they're committing more to Hotel Inferno means that I'm like caring less about Shang-Chi getting Shang-Chi'd in this location. Can't really even do anything great though, which is kind of crazy. So if they Shang-Chi me here, I lose. Yeah, now I look silly for having played this. Darkhawk is for 12, which is a pretty large amount of power. This card feels like it's probably Darkhawk. So, like, I don't even have a way to... Oh, no, this does beat Darkhawk. Just barely. I don't think it's worth the 2 cubes here. I think this was a low roll. I snapped, I think, a little bit aggressively. And then I drew 2 of 3 rocks. I think the snap was bold on turn 1. I think I was just a little bit... I was trying to bully my opponent off after seeing Hotel Inferno, but it just wasn't something my opponent cared about, and for good reason. Now that's a cool location for me. Could also ignore it and play Killmonger. But I don't think it costs me anything to just skip this turn. The main consideration there is whether or not I snap. think it might have been a mistake not to. Let's snap now. So leaving space open for Hulkbuster is the idea here. Spider-Ham seems like it's coming out here. Spider-Ham plus Korg is the only play we've seen from them that plays here. If one of my cards has to get Spider-Hammed, I think that's a fine one to bite the dust. Next turn, I'll just go X-23 Venom unless I draw Deathlok. This does put me out of playing Hulkbuster, but I think that's fine. I am leaving Venom to get Shang-Chi'd, but the idea here is that I'm going to play a Deadpool and Knull on the final turn. I will have to draw into either... No, I will have to draw, yeah, into Deathlok or Carnage. And I think that's fine. Ooh, they're giving me something. What are you giving me? Gotta be Thor. Or Beta Ray, I suppose. But that's pretty bold to give me a 4/6. I mean, yeah, it's kind of smart because I don't really have a huge use for it. I kind of miss here as well, which is a bit of a bummer. So I can either Beta Ray back, not into Machine World, but elsewhere. Five cards destroyed. There's a slight temptation to play Knull, but then that will always draw the Shang-Chi, which is fine. I then just have to battle for Machine World. How much can they really utilize Knull anyways? Especially without Zabu. I mean, I think them just playing Knull on the final turn... Oh, they could always have the Stormbringer, too. Let's try this. So they could play Stormbringer plus Knull. Just kind of silly. We actually need more power in Machine World. Actually, I just don't think we're getting there in Machine World. So my opponent's going to have +6, potentially +7, which means we need to have +8 or +9. But then I don't have enough to win this location, so I guess I go for +8, which is this. And then I go for Beta Ray here. Yeah, I think this is a pretty good snap. Well, is it? If we put 8 power into Machine World, I think I'm okay here. I don't know, this is a crazy gamble. Why are they? Because they're snapping. Let's see what they have. They've got Stormbreaker plus Knull, but we win in Xandar, and we did the math. We win in Machine World. All right, I'm happy I stayed with it because I just felt like the math was there, and that's an infinite conquest win. Okay, sorry I was lost in the sauce. My opponent snapped. and gave it to me on the final turn, but that is going to be a Hulkbuster Infinite Border for the 3/5 Hulkbuster. Hulkbuster, we hardly knew ye. I don't know if I said this at the start of this video as well, but as you can see at this point, almost a 2-hour long video. That's going to be it for me today. I will claim the avatar, but maybe I will do a run back with a smaller Hulkbuster, but there's other content that I want to get out this season. I talked about some of the other content coming your way in the previous video, or maybe some of the other content was a previous video, but there's Dracula Destroy to play, there's other cool decks, but I'm happy to get a win here with my first Infinity ticket and give a nice farewell to the 3/5 Hulkbuster. But for today, that is going to be it. I'm going to hit this button to see if this does anything cool. Okay, cool. That's going to be it for me today. Thank you guys very much for watching. I'm NoLucksGiven. Peace.